All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for jumping on Friday Fire. I am very excited today. As you can see, I'm in a little different environment than normal, than what you're used to seeing. And I'm here with my good friends, Julian and Peter from Minski. I'm very excited to kind of get to talk to them and learn a little bit about them. And then what I'm really more excited about is they're going to really walk you through the journey of a client from start to finish through a project, kind of what that looks like, utilizing the dashboard, the experience, and everything else, so you guys have a better understanding. If you don't know what we're talking about, you've either been living under a rock or you weren't at our meeting on Tuesday. We announced on Tuesday that we have created an exclusive strategic partnership with Minski, who is really a leader in the digital space for home improvement. I would kind of compare it to Airbnb or Uber. Besides, and they've done things a little different. Besides just kind of being a portal for different contractors, they've created a space for lending. So they've got basically a whole capture of different lenders that they can provide to you. And what takes it a little step further is they actually are the general contractor. So it's a very big shift from maybe what you've seen from some of the other providers out there. For those who are saying, well, what does that mean for us? Well, guys, right now there's probably about 250 to 300,000 real estate agents across the country that already have some type of home remodeling or home improvement type of solutions that they provide to their agents. Many of these are driven through partnerships like us, through different real estate companies and whatnot. In some cases, they're literally just kind of pass-throughs that they provide a solution. And then some are more like ours, where they have a revenue share type of opportunity where the agents can actually make money, et cetera, et cetera. So we're very excited about this today. This is still in the works. We wanted to get this out. We want to get you guys starting to do deals. I'm finishing up some final disclosure information on our end. We want to make sure that we've got all our T's crossed and I's dotted, that we don't get you guys in trouble or us in trouble or these two guys in trouble as well from RESPA. Everything that would be done on these is post-closing, but there's still a referral through and a third party. And so we've got a couple different things we have to worry about, which is the state of Texas and RESPA itself. So with that being said, we'll get that all fixed here in the coming days. You're going to have two different kind of, I would say, experiences that you can work through with the Minski platform. The one will be where you can really help your clients sign them up and be the solution provider and say, oh, if you really want to buy that house, we have a partnership with a company that can, and you need a new roof, that we could put that together for you. It could be kind of simultaneous. It happens right after closing. Or we're going to, what Peter calls frictionless, we're going to create some type of widget scenario where you guys can put it on your apps and on your websites, where you might be doing nothing and you have clients that will be able to literally go in and say, oh, wow, I like this agent. On top of it, they have home improvement solutions, whether it's solar, whether it's roofing, whether it's windows and doors, whether it's landscaping, HVAC, and many other. I think there are many others that you guys will continue to bring in services. So I think it's exciting. As I told everyone at the meeting the other day, my main goal is to help you guys win more deals. And at the end of the day, if you can make some extra money at it on the side, and these guys make some extra money, then it's a win-win for all of us. And that's ultimately in every relationship I make, and I work across, with you guys and with kind of companies, I'm always kind of looking for the win-win. Is there a win-win solution? Because if there's not, I need to understand why. If one side's winning, one side's not, usually those partnerships do not work. So with that being said, I'm going to get into that, but I want to first open the gate here for fire. I want to give anyone any chance to kind of share anything, whether it's any new listings, any new, maybe overcoming some objections with some of the NAR settlement stuff that's been going on, anything you might want to share, or any personal things you want to share. Who's got some fire to share? Of course, I can't see anything, guys, because of our setup here. So I don't know if you're raising your hand or whatever. You just got to speak up, or Donna's going to be moderating. She's watching as well. If someone raises a hand.
Hey, Frank, good morning. This is Jose Hernandez. Not necessarily a fire, just a reminder that this month is Suicide Prevention Month. and
Yes.
mental health awareness. I bring this up because this past week, or actually a couple days ago, I got a call from my niece out in Tennessee. I have a sister who lives out there, and she's a couple of years younger than I, and we keep in touch. And apparently she tried to commit suicide, and from left field, right? So this is at a forefront and kind of a shock. And just like I said, just a gentle reminder: check on the people, your family. Everyone's fighting a battle, and we need to be mindful of that. And it's hard sometimes, right? Life gets in the way, deals get in the way, but just a gentle reminder to check on the people that you love, and keep in mind that everyone's fighting a battle that we know nothing of, and it's real. So that's all.
All right, good stuff, brother. I appreciate you sharing that. I'm sorry. I hope I guess it's your sister you said that attempted.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Yeah, well, we'll keep her in our prayers, and hopefully
Yes,
she'll get the help that she needs and get through this.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad she didn't succeed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Who else got some fire? Thank you, Jose. I see Michelle. I can see far away, but I can't read it. So Don, I don't know if that's
your sister will say, pretty sure recovers and everything.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Good. Thank you. I forget Peter's right here. He's got our eyes, because some of us old guys have to wear glasses. Who else got some fire? Anybody? Come on, guys. You guys are quiet. I got some fire. I got a update yesterday just for last week on Property Boost, on agents that did Property Boost, and I was blown away at how many leads you guys were getting. And I know that Veronica and Sam, I think on one listing, got 12 leads and maybe 15 just from doing the Property Boost, which I believe is $60. And I know Martha had gotten, I believe, 15 if my memory serves it correctly. So I mean, that's a great value when you have a listing, guys. For you able to put $60 in for the first week, and I believe that's the cost, and correct me if I'm wrong, and to get that many leads out of that, number one, it's great for you, but number two, what kind of value does that present to your sellers when you can sit there and say, we have a system in place that's going to get this many impressions, this many views, and boom, and leads. And of course, at the end of the day, guys, I mean, the leads are all for you guys, whether you sell them the listing or not, sell them whatever they want. But Martha, I saw you in a second ago. Do you have anything to share on that? Were you pleasantly surprised with that? Poor Martha's like, I didn't want to talk, Frank. Okay, well, maybe Martha's either not listening to me, but I saw her just pop up a second ago. So anyway, anyone else before we get started, guys? I'm not going to sell past the close. Any other fire? Any other announcements or anything to share? All right, before I forget, Monday.
Hey,
Oh, there she is. Good morning.
Oh, I didn't know you meant me. I thought it was the other Martha.
No, didn't you do a Property Boost? And my report said you had 15 leads.
Well, yes, and I
Mind blown.
had more than 2,000 clicks.
For $60, right?
Exactly.
Wow. Mind blown?
Mind blown. I love it.
I am mind blown. That I can't imagine. I mean, guys, for you guys that are buying Zillow leads right now, what's the average spend? $30 per lead, something like that. Yeah, $60, and you got 2,000 clicks and 15 leads. If I were everyone on this call, I would make that part of your marketing, and I can show you the reports. I get the reports weekly. And again, I was so impressed with the report, I kind of just was like drinking my coffee this morning going, you got to be kidding me. There's something wrong here. So anyway, awesome. Thank you, Martha, for sharing. Any other fire? All right. Monday, Taco Tuesday is now going to be on Monday next week. So on Monday, we are celebrating Mexican Independence Day. Is that what it is? Yeah. Something like that? Okay. So we're going to have tacos, margaritas, cervezas. You guys can join us? Come to our office. Okay, absolutely. 11:30 to 1 o'clock at the office. It is open. So guys, Princeton Mortgage and Clear Title are putting this on now. It is open to your friends in college. You got some friends, especially that you've been trying to pull over to Home Pros, invite them to this. I'll be there. These guys will be there with me. We'll have a lot of fun. I know last time it got a little crazy, so I'm going to be there this time to referee, because I think, it's supposed to end at 1. I think they were still going about 3 or 4 o'clock last time. So we're going to try to, calm it down a little bit. We are a place of business, but I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. Is Ray on the call, Donna?
Honestly, I do not see him
Okay.
unless he's on one of the iPhones, but I do not see his name on here.
No, he doesn't have an iPhone. He has one of those other phones we will not name. And so okay. Anyway, I can't say it because I get in trouble with Google. They shut me down every time, call me bullying. All right, well, let's get started, guys. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you for inviting me to this amazing studio. This is like, I'm mind blown right now. And like I said earlier, I wish you guys could see where I am. I want to kind of find out a little bit of information about you guys, but I want to make sure we save enough time to kind of go through the process and the journey and everything. So maybe let's kind of take it one step at a time. Why don't we, we'll start from my left and go to my right. That works for you. So Julian, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
Not from El Paso, right?
Not from El Paso,
Okay.
born and raised in Mexico City.
Okay.
Well, before Minski, I actually created a fintech company.
Okay.
That we provided collateralized lending
And
using.
For those that don't know what fintech is, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's a financial company that uses technology to provide services to individuals or companies.
Okay, wonderful.
And what we used is blockchain technology to lend out collateralized loans, and we exited that company. And right before that, I created a search fund, which is basically a private equity fund that invests in the sole industry. And I managed a company that was mostly healthcare based and finance. I did that for 9 years. We sold that company in 2021. And right before that, I was mostly in Wall Street working for Morgan Stanley as a director of capital markets. And before that, I worked at Merrill Lynch, also in the same capacity. I have an MBA from Harvard Business School. And right before that, I did a little bit of consulting. I was at McKinsey for 3 years.
Okay.
And that I would say that my background is mostly that intersection between entrepreneurship, technology, and finance. So I am the CFO. So that's why I chose that role. I'm also the COO of Minski as well.
Sure. Well, obviously very impressive.
Thank you.
I mean, it's I think when it's easy for us in the real estate world to kind of get just lost in our world, what we do. And of course, I think a lot of people think what we do is very impressive as well, and how we're able to interact and build the relationships and everything. But, when we hear a resume like yourself, it's kind of a whoa type of thing. And so obviously very exciting. I was interested to hear about blockchain. I've got a friend of mine that's on the title side that's kind of creating one of the first blockchain title businesses out of South Florida, and been very, very interested to see how that plays into our world, and really just in the I think in the finance capitals world across the board from everything that's out there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays, and I think it's still so new. I know it's been around for a long time, but very cool. So born and raised in Mexico City, when did you move to the States?
So the first time I moved to the States was, when I moved to Boston to study my MBA. And right after that, after finishing, I went to New York, where I spent some time there.
Okay.
Came back to Mexico City, actually was a director also at Morgan Stanley in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and then came back to the US, to El Paso.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wow, well, very impressive.
Thank you.
And we're thrilled to be working with someone of your caliber and your but you're also just a really nice guy. And so, I mean, that's important, right? So anyway, all right, Peter, so you're up. From El Paso?
No.
No? Okay.
Born and raised in San Diego, California.
Okay, San Diego, California.
Yeah.
Great. And tell us a little bit about you growing up, and how did you get into software engineering?
So I've always been passionate about creating. So I had studied, I was going to go into study neuroscience at UCSD.
Okay.
And then I jumped a little bit over to wanting to learn about entrepreneurship, and I kind of pivoted. And then I started learning how to do code through academies.
Okay.
And then from there, I dropped out of UCSD. Started getting into app development, web development on my own through this academy. And then I kind of went on my own for after a while. So I've had this entrepreneurship in my DNA of wanting to create apps, wanting to do something. I've always looked up to people that were in Silicon Valley when wanted to do what they did. But I knew that I was missing one huge, big component, which is business, understanding business.
Right.
So then I went to Stanford to get into business. So
I'm next to a Stanford guy and a Harvard guy. Okay, well, and I'm an Ole Miss guy, but okay. All right, well, we'll take it. And of course, then also your business partner went to the most important school and the most prestigious school, UTEP here. So, which we got a lot of UTEP fans, and so that's not a slight against UTEP. We love UTEP. So, so always kind of in the app side and got the business side. So tell me, you come from kind of, you know, from Wall Street, working Wall Street, doing fintech. Why home remodeling or home improvement, really? What brought you to this place, besides it being one of the hottest really industries across the country right now? And maybe we could talk a little bit about the home improvement industry as well, because I know probably more than I should know, and but it's just taken off. But what brought you guys there?
So I think we saw a huge opportunity in a very fragmented, unprofessional industry that had very poor customer satisfaction. We thought that it happened to many other industries that actually technology can disintermediate and integrate an industry with such characteristics. We thought, you know what, why not home improvement? It's a $40 billion industry a year. It has more than $1.2 million of fraud a year. People hate it. You know,
2 billion of fraud, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's right. Sure.
It's just an industry that needs a lot of help, and we believe that technology can actually bridge that gap and make it transparent, trustworthy, and even a pleasant experience, which is kind of cumbersome, right? It's kind of difficult to think that actually doing a project like that would be a pleasant experience. So that's why Minski was created.
And how did it? Maybe you can piggyback on it, but how did you two guys meet?
That's a funny story.
You wanted to buy Minski.
So I came from the buyout industry.
Okay.
So my first approach to Peter was, well, you have this code, and I would like to buy that technology.
Sure.
And he said no immediately, but he said, well, why don't you just join us and let's build this company? And that's why, I mean, I couldn't refuse Peter. He's a complete genius, and I have that business acumen that I think brings to the table that compliment. So, I mean, I was lucky enough to partner with someone like Peter.
Thanks. Very cool. So how long have you two been partnered?
Well, we started a year ago.
Really? So this is a new venture for you guys.
Yeah.
Minski's been you getting ready to go in your third year? Okay. Started out of your bedroom, I assume?
When I first initially got to El Paso, I used to live in a little small office, and that's where I started.
Well, let's take a step back. How'd you get to El Paso?
So there was a company here who initially wanted to hire me to jump into home improvement to develop a software for them.
Okay.
That's how I got involved with home improvement, with solar, with home improvement. They wanted me to develop a CRM for them.
Okay.
But initially when I started developing work, when I was gonna do the prototyping, I started doing a market analysis on the solar segment and home improvement. And I came to realize it was such a niche market, and there was no competition as far as software. So what I did was I told them that I developed the software for free if they allowed me to keep the IP, which they refused. But so then from there I started I told my other partners, like, hey, let's start this on our own. But I came to El Paso, I analyzed the market in El Paso. I knew that El Paso was going to be the perfect market in order for us to be able to start a tech company because of the diversity that you guys have here with engineering and with other things that are the logistics behind. I started doing market analysis on your guys' real estate. I started doing a market analysis on everything overall. And I know that by 2030, El Paso is going to be such a different city than it is right now.
We have a young, population here, which is, and for those that, if you're not a numbers nerd like I am, when you look at some of these places like the Silicon Slopes, which is outside of Salt Lake City and places, that's usually what they're looking for. So it's either big hubs of education places or places that have a young population. And that was something that really, it's interesting because this is my second year in El Paso, and 2 years. This month we made an announcement, the first week of October was that, I was buying into the Home Pros family company. So we're about on the same page. And, but that was one of the things that really interested me. You know, and so, you know, I don't obviously know from the education perspective, how many graduates of this and stuff, but, that's interesting. And I think obviously I would assume from a startup and trying to get things off the ground, you're going to have a lot better opportunity of hiring people in a market like El Paso versus a market like Austin, where everybody and their brother who's in your space,
Right.
And when I say your space, in the software engineering space, has kind of jumped in there full speed. And so I'm assuming that the demand is higher, that it's hard to get the talent pool and everything else. Very interesting.
Those are the pros and cons that we deal with here. So obviously the cons is that there's huge lack of talent.
Mhm.
Which is actually Julian and Arber and my partners. One of our biggest goals was for us to be able to change the dynamic of the tech industry here.
Mhm.
Tech software engineers tend to leave El Paso.
Mhm.
We just want to be able to create something here that we make them stay and we get to keep that talent.
And Minski is truly a binational company, Frank. We have, hired a big number of software engineers from Mexico.
Okay.
We just realized that we're one of the big issuers of work visas for
Really?
Mexican engineers here in El Paso. So it's funny that we're actually in that position, but I think there's a lot of potential at El Paso being a border town that has this integration with Juarez and Mexico in general to actually create a tech ecosystem here.
And tell me this, how many employees, and then do you outsource any of your code or development?
We have 35 employees here.
Okay.
We also outsource the part of our development.
Okay.
It works because not only the cost is affected, it's also the time frame that we're working. We can work 24 hours. We have people in Asia. And while we do the architecture during the day, they can program and code at night.
Wonderful.
So that serves for us. It gives us an advantage. But again, the talent that we have found here, Frank, here and in Juarez, it has been fantastic, really.
That's huge.
Prime talent. We're surprised about that. And I think there's a lot more to come.
I would assume, and I don't want to speak out, but I know we've got some people that are very involved with UTEP at different roles. You know, UTEP would always be looking for companies like yourself that, you know, provide opportunity, whether internship or whatever, you know, or either some type of, you know, programs that they can work, you know, gain credit hours by coming and working in a paid internship or just even a credit internship. So interesting. So you guys have been together 2 years and you're about a year, and you've got about 4,000 partners, give or take. Is that, and that's right now Florida?
Yes, it's Florida, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, part of California,
Okay.
and it might be seeing.
No, part of Colorado, we've had North Carolina, South Carolina,
Just speak up
Virginia.
just a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we've
Okay.
had also partners, agents in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia.
Okay. So basically is your goal is to offer this in all 50 states, I assume?
Yes, we're currently also offering it in Chihuahua, Mexico.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Our goal is for next year or the following year to also hit Canada.
Canada's a great market. So let's talk a little bit about home improvement. And then of course I want to make sure we have enough time. What do you need, about 20 minutes or so? And I want to,
It's really to showcase the software should be less than 10 minutes.
okay, perfect. So we'll spend another 10 minutes or so talking. Then we'll do that. Then I want to make sure we leave, kind of open this up for questions. Tell me, let's go a little more and, you know, you made some comment, you gave us a little information about home improvement. I was kind of made aware of the home improvement business was really starting to take off when I worked for Realogy. For those who don't know what Realogy is kind of the 800-pound gorilla. It's called Anywhere now. Anywhere Real Estate is what the name of the company. It's the same company. It's the holdings company that owns Coldwell Banker, Century 21, ERA, Sotheby's, Better Homes and Gardens. At the time, prior to Realogy going private, it's public again, it was part of a larger network, which was called Cendant. And Cendant, you probably know all these names. Cendant was a huge conglomerate that had Wyndham Hotels and Avis Car Rental and Budget Car Rentals. And it was, but I served on a couple of different strategic groups and associations within Realogy from a growth perspective. And they started really looking in about, I want to say it was probably about 2015 at the home improvement just sector itself. And they're from a real estate perspective, they said, is this an industry that we need to tip our toes in? And again, at the time, they were a Fortune 500 company. I think they've fallen out of Fortune 500, but they're still a massive, massive company. Company does 7 billion or something in revenue. So we started getting a lot of research, and we were looking at different companies that were startup companies. Most were companies that were out of Silicon Valley or San Francisco, such to say. HomeLight was one that was kind of coming out of the gates at that time. Angie's List was really kind of starting to relook at how do they monetize the partnerships and the network that they had. And then we even started seeing Cinch, which was a big home warranty company. It was like at number 3 in the nation, said, we have this network of providers around the country. Why don't we monetize this? Why don't we also try to find a solution? Because there's two sides there from the business. Obviously, from the monetization is, we have this piece here. How do we not? It's kind of like what we do with Home Pros. We look at and say, well, we have an eco center, which is a transaction. And are there other opportunities that can either drive revenue, which then can pass savings on to our agents? And that's the exact same thing I think these companies were looking at. So that was my first introduction. But is there history prior to that? Was Angie's List kind of the first? And then it's just started as a referral network. I mean, and then of course, there's Thumbtack. There's all these different companies now that come out of this that are worth billions of dollars, I assume, correct? So is there any history on the home improvement business that you could share besides obviously being disintermediation, the disintermediation of it, the fraud, all the different things that I think have started happening, which we see in all industries, of course. But can you give me any more insight on that and where it is today and maybe where you think it's going?
So the way that I see it today is that we currently, most of like 80% of the jobs in home improvement are done by unprofessional contractors with no financing.
Right.
That's the reality. And these are small contractors that might not have the resources, the information, the CRM tools to monitor and execute a good project. So that's why you have this bad customer reviews in general. The satisfaction is low.
As my friend who does flips says, she says, they're one injury or one, DUI away from, not finishing your project and you losing your money. And so
that's correct.
And okay, so go ahead. And that's not a slant against, that's just, and that's the same with it could be the same with a realtor. I mean, at the end of the day, it's, when you are you're the chief cook and bottle washer and everything else, that's the case.
Yeah.
So.
And to add to that, these 80% of projects have no transparency, right? There might be a contract in place. It might be even a physical contract, which will become obsolete. There's no financing attached to it at all. If it does, it's a very complicated process for the homeowner. They have to get it somewhere else. Probably if the financing is not right. So all these pieces together, first of all, they're fragmented. The homeowner has to take care of them separately, right? Get the contractor, get the financing, get sometimes people that can help with the permits. It's a very complicated process and it takes a lot of time out of the homeowner. So that's where we're at right now. So we believe that technology, things like Minski, that we are also integrating AI to match the very best vetted contractors with the very best projects, right? And have the very best contractors locally that can execute a project. Using this, we can actually have these things, the transparency, the technology, we can save time for the homeowner and get the right financing in place. This was, for me, Frank, the very big component that I think it's going to change the industry, which is have the financing partners like we do, that we are actually a marketplace for financing, right? We work with 12 banking partners that offer a myriad of banking solutions for home improvement. So having this marketplace and having with 3 clicks and 60 seconds, the homeowner can actually get qualified and get the right loan for the project. We can actually professionalize the industry. We can also offer contractors our tools for them to offer the financing too. So both ways, working both ways with the homeowners and contractors, we can actually bring that what we believe is the transparency, the trust that this industry needs.
One thing I really liked, and thank you for sharing that. That's incredible. One thing I really liked about you guys is taking that step further is taking that liability and risk in being the general contractor.
Yes.
That's something at least I haven't seen in this space. Maybe it's out there, but usually it's simply a referral network. Maybe there's some financing involved with it, but I haven't seen where someone actually said, okay, we're going to kind of put our money where our mouth is. We're going to take the liability on this as well. It's on you if Jimmy's roofing company, who's one of your subs, all of a sudden decides he's taking the rest of his money and going to Hawaii for the rest of the month. You got to go and figure this out. You got to go find someone else to finish the job. You know, the job is the job. You quoted the job. You've made, it's on you. You've got timelines and what made you guys decide to do that? Because to me, that's just, I guess it's risk that, and I understand, well, you get to buy in bulk and things like that. I understand that piece, but that's a risk that I wouldn't see a lot of people taking.
That's true, Frank. Actually, we came up to this general contractor position also because it was required by our banking partners too.
Okay.
So for them to lend through us, they needed one entity that actually took the project on.
Because they didn't want to be chasing these guys.
Of course,
Okay.
of course not.
Got it.
And
Makes
for us to be able to distribute loans like this first of all, on a technology platform without face-to-face interaction with all online and digital contracts. And so in such streamlined way, we had to become this very efficient, very trustworthy general contractor. So we've executed, I don't know, it's probably by now more than 5,000 projects in the platform. And this experience has given us a lot of know-how and actually how to execute. We create digital files for everything. We take pictures of everything. We're basically on top of each step of the process. So that allows us to basically have a lot of control that maybe other general contractors can't.
Yes.
We do it everything digitally, everything through our CRM platform. So that allows us to have like a constant eye on every project. And that's why we believe that we also wanted to give trust by becoming that face, that responsible entity to the homeowner.
Amazing. So 5,000 projects in 2.5 years.
It's actually 10,500 projects.
Oh, it's
I was
10
thinking maybe only in Texas, sorry.
Yeah, 10,500 projects in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Could you imagine even a year ago being at that number?
No.
But it's never good enough, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, no, we're still growing.
Amazing. So in these projects, for the most part, are pretty large projects. This was one of the things I was talking to, someone called me yesterday on this, and I was like, no, this is not for your plumbing repair or, screen repair. This is not, handyman or things like that. It's really not even AC repair. It's AC replacement, upgrades, things like that, or other things, windows, doors, landscaping. What's the minimum project spend that you guys see? I mean, $1,000, $2,000. What's the minimum project? And then you guys go up to 6 figures in some cases,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the minimum project that we do is $3,500.
3,500. Okay.
Yes, 3,500, that's a minimum project. We've done smaller projects, but that's really not for Minski. That's probably not something that you could finance either.
Right.
And we've gone up to projects that are, $250,000.
Amazing.
So we've worked with flippers that have a whole program of home improvement, and we've financed that as well. So we've done pretty large projects too.
So in large projects, you've stepped outside of those main buckets. So if you had to bring in a framer or a drywall person or a foundation person, then you guys do that. So it's not that it's just, because when you go to the website, you kind of have those buckets of those 5 or 6 different kind of areas that you specialize in. But ultimately, it's kind of like, bring a deal to us and let's see what we can do. And I find that fascinating. And I think that's key, that maybe, we didn't, or at least I didn't, let the guys know in our meeting on Tuesday, because we do have so many flippers and we have so many investors. Home Pros is kind of, it's a place that really attracts them because of our flat fee cost. Because now it's the cost of doing business. This is what it costs us to do business. It makes sense, et cetera. So tell me this, the other piece is that you don't have to get financing. You will do cash deals.
Yes.
Obviously, a big component of your revenue comes from the financing
Correct.
component, because I think you tried, from what you had explained to me, to keep price costs, you know, at market value and competitive in the space of the contracting itself.
Yes, we can certainly do cash deals as well. To be honest, most of our, like, I would say like 95% of our deals are financed in some capacity. But yeah, we do cash deals as well.
Well, it's the attraction. And I would assume, again, it goes back to what you were saying earlier. If someone has the cash, in many cases, you know, they're going to get Joe up the road, because Joe's going to be able to still undercut, you know, even a subcontractor by 20-30% in some
Correct.
cases. I mean, if there's risk, obviously. Okay, so I'll have a couple more questions, and then we'll get over to this. I really want to make sure we have enough time on this. What the first thing is, you know, what's the big plan for Minski? And I mean, every one of my friends that has done this, I have so many friends that have been in kind of the prop tech space. You know, they're still in it, but they're on like company number 4 or 5. They're like where both of you guys were, as far as taking companies. I mean, obviously nothing's for sale until it is. And I mean, I understand that. I get that. I get asked that all the time about home pros. Like, what are you going to sell? I'm like, I have no intentions of selling. I don't want to sell. And I mean, it would have to be dumb money to even consider selling. But at the end of the day, nothing's for sale until it is. What is the plan for Minski? Is there other ideas to build off of Minski, to expand the home improvement? What, you know, do you guys have a 5-year roadmap, a 10-year roadmap? What does that look like?
Yeah, so one thing that the 3 founders that we have in common is that we've always had an accomplishment as a goal, which is to take a company public.
Okay.
And so for us, the long-term goal is to be able to be one of the first tech companies in El Paso to reach IPO by 2029.
Wonderful.
We're obviously going, we're heading towards our Series A, our Series B, but our end strategy is going direct to consumer.
Gotcha.
In about a year and a half. We're currently working on the software development. We do want to be that direct competitor to Angie's List, Home Advisor, because we're doing it from a different angle. We're not, it's indirect but direct. We're fixing the problems that the home improvement is facing. So I think that as a whole, as a company, our core value, it's in our core of our mission and vision that we want to be able to reach IPO and want to reach direct to consumer, and tap at least to get out of the United States, obviously Canada, Mexico, and hit 5 or 6 other countries.
Wow.
That are in that it's an overall problem in the home improvement space, and obviously the market size gets bigger as we get out of here.
For sure. I have one question. Do you want to go back on El Paso? Have you guys had any pushback on El Paso? And trying to raise money, things like that?
Oh, I could answer that. So, a lot of people have told me, get out of El Paso, man. People from San Francisco, colleagues from, Austin, and that knows El Paso, that basically say, you're gonna not reach. So will we raise our money in El Paso? I don't think so. Maybe not, because it's hard to find investors that understand how to raise money from a tech perspective. You can't, there's not a lot of investors that you can go to and be like, hey, I need $5 million for 5% of the company.
Yes.
What do you mean? When am I gonna get my money back? So those PCs are in Austin and in New York and things like that. So we've had a lot of difficulties, but we also understand that till now we've been bootstrapped. For those who do not know what bootstrapping is, this is all self-funded since year 1 we've been profitable. But in order for us to really get to that, we have to raise money.
And the reason I asked this, and it's such a true statement, and I can go back to my previous life of being a musician. I mean, I was always told, we got to go to Nashville, go to LA, or New York. That was just the only option. And it's the same when you're dealing with private equity or venture capital. And everyone, it was nearly just the mindset, like we've got to go out to, well, Austin, you could call it now, or to Silicon Valley or something. It's that same thing. Well, why aren't you not here? And of course, they'll give every reason we talked about earlier. Well, you don't have the talent pool. You're not going to have, how are you going to grow and hire people if you're in El Paso? So I was wondering about that. I was thinking about that through that process. And I think it's really cool that y'all chose to stay here, because it would be very easier to kind of go back to Southern California and say, or go to Northern California and say, but I do think, the little I know that, you've got a community here that's just raising their hand for something that's a young, vibrant community. And I think the border town plays a lot into it as well. So taking it public is really the number one thing. Hopefully you guys, I went through that process and with 2 companies, and it was a fun process. I'm being facetious. It was a grueling process, and I had many trips up to Wall Street and meeting with different, and kind of putting our community pieces together to kind of, our offering, and a lot of fun, but it was painful. But I guess my last question to you guys would be, and then we'll kind of get straight to this, is do you see you guys, kind of like what I talked about the ecosystem, do you see other places, other pieces, other industries that are going to fall into kind of what you guys do? Are there other things that interest you that maybe you guys can grow from, or that are ancillary to home improvement?
Definitely, real estate is the sister of what we're doing. The partnership we're doing with Home Pros for us is key. Is basically, I think, the onset of what we think they should be home improvement. They should come together. And eventually, what we believe is through technology, we can even merge these 2 industries together. It shouldn't be separate. That's why we're so excited about this exclusive partnership we do with Home Pros. It's the beginning. We've never done this before. It's what we believe is the beginning of what the conversation with the homeowner should be. It's an integral conversation.
Yes.
It's buying a house, it's getting the right house that you want, getting your house fixed. So it has to be a conversation that encompasses a lot of topics. And that's why we believe real estate is going to be always together with Minski and home improvement, so we can navigate this journey.
Love it. Well, that's exciting. And I think that goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, we're always looking from our standpoint for the agents is how can we bring more solutions to the consumer, what we call clients. And I think obviously many doors open from different, as you continue to open doors, and what that looks like. So very interesting. Well, I'm excited about this. Are you gonna walk us through this, Peter? And guys, I'll get it started, Peter, but I'll just say, keep an open mind in regards to this. And I kind of set the stage earlier, and I'll say it again. I mean, you're showing property to someone, they're looking at homes that maybe don't have what they need. Don't cross that home out. You have a solution provider now. If it's got, let's say it's got a swamp cooler in it, and you want to get refrigerated air, we've got a solution for that. Let's say the roof is not good, but the property's been sold as is, and it's 30 or 40 grand already under market value, and the seller's not going to budge. Or maybe let's say it's real estate owned, it's bank owned or whatever, and they're not going to budge. Well, you have a solution for that. And the beautiful thing about that is that can all be put together without any hard pulls, without any problems with their debt to income ratio, for basically a simultaneous post-closing. And the beautiful thing is that all of you will be able to make a commission on this. I did have one question about that. I had an agent came to me and said, I really like this, but I have a fundamental problem with collecting a commission on my client. And they said, can we give that back? And I said, well, personally, I think you could just give it back to your client, period. It's not part of the actual, in the real estate transaction, we have to disclose all that. But the fact that it's post-closing, they could certainly do that. Or can you guys offset the discount fee on that? Or how does that work? Is it better they just give the money back to them?
That's a great question, Frank. Yes, we've had partners or ambassadors want to give that back to the client. They can certainly do that.
Okay.
The way it works for the commissions is after the project's funded, the agent gets a commission immediately.
Okay.
They get you'll see that on their dashboard, they'll see how much commission they're making for each client. It's very transparent for everybody.
Okay.
So they can actually either keep it, or if they want, they can offer that to the homeowner. it's their money to keep, it's their money to decide.
Great. Okay, that's fantastic news. And I think that, you know, the reality sometimes also is you could say, I get a commission on this and I'd like to give half of that back to you or
Yeah,
whatever. So there's other options instead of you giving the whole kit and caboodle to the person. But I understand, and I think that was Tammy Norzagore who had brought that to my attention, and I respect her for that. And I understand that. I do understand. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to you.
So here I actually sent a link on in the chat in your guys's here in the Zoom link. I sent a link and where you guys can go ahead and register. But if you don't have access to the link, or if anybody else asks how can I register, there's going to be 3 ways. You know, there's 3 ways to be able to do this. Number one is directly through the link that I sent you guys, and then the other one is directly through our website, which is Minski.io, and where you're going to be able to click sign up. Right under sign up, you're going to be able to click real estate. When you click real estate, it would directly send you to our Home Pro registry. Here you basically put in the information that you can as far as for you to be able to register. Once you do that, it's very easy, very simple. Give me 1 second. And then for referred by, if there was, I mean, this one you guys can be benefit, it's obviously by Home Pro, but here for the industry, all you're gonna do is just click real estate. This would allow us to know that is anything in our software is related to you guys. Click on sign up. When you click on sign up, you're gonna receive this congratulations. Once you do that, you're gonna go back to your portal and then register, sign in through the email, through the password you guys just submitted through your registry. And then you'll be able to log in. In this case, I mean, I just put a fake Denise Larissa. Here you'll have a welcome and terms and condition on the software. And overall the software within itself, it has a lot of functions, but we kind of eliminated a lot of the things that, so to not get you guys confused. So we just added the leads tab here. Down here in the right-hand corner, you're gonna see a little plus sign. If you guys have clients for your any needs for and clients, you guys click on this, and then you guys will be able to select the states. Let's just say you do have a client in Florida, you'll be able to click Florida, and we can add in New Mexico or other states if you guys want. But right now we just added those 2 because those are our most common ones.
Yeah, we definitely want New Mexico. And by the way, guys, that's one thing that Julian kind of mentioned at the meeting was, again, you could be the solution. This could be the solution that you give to your client. Maybe it's for their property that's in California or in
Yes.
Florida, and you still would get paid. This is not like, it's got to happen just in Texas or just wherever you're licensed, because again, this is a post-closing transaction that really has nothing to do with the actual real estate transaction itself.
Right. Exactly. So this is the lead portion of it. You can obviously submit the client's information. It's very self-explanatory as far as the questions that I ask. None of them are required. The only ones that are required is the first name, last name, email, phone number, and address. Here, on the service required, you can go ahead and add the service. A lot of the times they give us a little bit more details like, hey, this client, she wants a pool and she wants to get a quote, for landscaping. Or give us, maybe they want multiple things or they have questions for multiple things. Then you guys can go ahead and submit it through here. And then your guys is obviously, I'm gonna just run you through as far as how the opportunity section, you guys will be able to see this tab. Don't worry so much about it. This requires a lot more other, training that I don't really want to get too involved.
Okay.
Right? So that way there's a high level, isn't. But this is the opportunities you'll be able to run proposals if you ever want to, understand that aspect of things. But this has like a full, artificial intelligence way to be able to create proposals for solar, things like that. Selecting on the states, but yeah. There's no projects right now, but just very quick view. Obviously, my CRM, this is a little bit more of a complete CRM, but this is how it would look like once your guys' project is there. Let's just say the client went through the whole process. You guys will have visibility of everything that happened with the client. Obviously, you guys are not making the sell. We're the ones taking care of everything, but you also want to have visibility of what's going on with your project, the communication that's going on with the project. So, you'll be able to see every single section here on stage. Every time you click on a stage and it says completed, you'll be able to see exactly what's going on with that stage. So for example, there's a site survey. all the questions on the site survey, all the pictures that were taken by the technicians on the site survey. If there was a design, you'll be able to click on the design and see the CAD design of that design for the house on whether it was an HVAC system, and again, it has to do with electrical. Give me 1 second, so. And then same thing goes for the installation. As far as the installation, you'll have visibility of the pictures, city permits, you guys will be able to have, you know, by the city records that the city has been permitted. Again, this allows you to see literally all the process that you're going with your project. And this is one of the things that makes Minski different, right? Is there's multiple parties, multiple users involved into a single project, from the engineers to the technicians, to the city, to the utility companies, anything like that. So here, everybody stays within one platform. The communication as well, we have a chat box, and where the chat box, there's full communication between all parties, you know, whether it's the engineer, whether it's the city, where anybody who's involved in the project, you know, you'll have total visibility of that as well, just in case your client asks you, hey, what's going on? They also have their own portal, which again, is another training for another day. But here you'll be able to see activity logs. In the activity log, you'll be able to see all the timestamps of absolutely everything that's going on with the project from the user sign-in. So whoever signed in to that
So
project.
you see, Frank, that's a big difference between Minski and Angel's.
Good.
So Angel's
Full
is
transparency.
nowhere
Yeah.
exactly tracking, transparency, trust.
And
That's
from
what this
here is also even from a financial standpoint, they want to understand their commissions or anything like that. They'll be able to understand why they got paid the way they got paid, a full breakdown of it. And basically, you know, this is overall the just an example of how it looks like on our project. Again, from lead, you guys will be able to submit the lead through here. When you guys submit the lead, you guys will, then our experts will be able to get access to that lead, close it, in which you guys will have full transparency of as well. Then it will convert to a project, and where you guys will be able to see your project individually. And that's as simple as that, to be honest with you.
I love it.
Now, and I'm sorry.
No, please
Very-
finish. And I do have a question, because I think I did get one question the other day. No, please go ahead. You know.
So just very soon, like I mentioned to you guys on Tuesday, the app should be launching pretty soon. And this is just how the app, instead of you guys having to log into the portal, you guys could be able to log into your app. It would have almost the same thing, except the whole project overview. If you guys want to get more in detail with the project, you guys will have to sign into your CRM to see all the things that went on the project. But the app is mainly to facilitate the process for more of instant gratification, to be able to, you know, click the sign on, select the client, add the client's information, get the credit history, and then have an overview of how that project, how much you're going to get paid for it, as everything fully automated.
And I think that was I love this. So one of the questions, and I think we need to be clear on it, because you said it a second ago, guys, it's not that that these guys expect you to go out and try to do bids for people and to set bids up. I understand that none of you, or well, maybe some of you are solar experts or roofing experts or whatever, but they have AI built in. So again, if you would have the same access, I believe, that the customer would have, to be able to say, well, I really want an HVAC system, and it's going to be, you know, the house is 2,300 square feet. I need a 3,500 ton, or at least it will suggest what it is. And then it would give a roundabout estimate, but of course, with the idea. So really, guys, it's just about, to me, it's let the consumer, the customer, go around and get all that done.
Right.
It's just, it's being the, you know, the portal to them and to the system itself, you know, the referral itself. And I think the more you do that, the more it's better than you trying to say, because I know all of us want to be hands-on and take care of things. Say, gosh, here, let's type it in and see what this looks like. And I understand if you've got some people that are not savvy, that are, you know, from a technology perspective, that's a different story. Maybe you help them, you guide them. But ultimately, these guys have the expertise to do it. I do have one other question. So obviously this is more or less a digital experience from start to finish, but you have reps and people that will get on the phone immediately with someone if they've got questions.
Oh yeah.
So if we have a flipper that says, I need new windows, I need new doors, I need new roof, I need foundation done, I need this, what's that look like? You know, obviously they're going to need to talk to someone and say, number one, how does that work? Am I going to have multiple meetings with multiple different contractors, which I would assume the answer is yes. And what does that look like? Do you have a a helpline, or do you have customer service people that are there to kind of take these calls from the clients and customers?
Yeah, so we have
So we don't want our agents taking those
Yeah,
calls.
no.
That's my big
The
concern.
agent will never really have to get involved unless, they want us to know more in detail about the project. But the way that we do it, just so that I can, facilitate that comment is we have our own, we have technicians. So for example, let's just say you have a client, you just have a client in Midland or a client in Dallas.
Yes.
We have in-house technicians that can go and do what is called the site survey.
Okay.
They're the ones that before anything, they go and they make sure that what the project is gonna be, like they don't need a new group or, there's a leakage or something that's going on. So they'll do that, send us the report, from the report, our in-house from the actual office. We take a look at that, and then if there's anything that needs to be done after that, we resend to a technician. So we handle all of that process by having our own internal technician, site surveyors from across the states.
Interesting. Okay.
And then our customers, if the homeowner has any additional questions, our internal team will take care of it.
Great. I have one final question, and I saw something, I'm not sure. In the credit perspective and the financing perspective, I would assume there's some data there that is, this should be confidential. Is the agent having access to that?
To access to their credit?
Yeah. Credit reports
No,
of that?
No.
So
Okay.
the way it works is that the way we run credit is we do it in 60 seconds with a soft pull and no basically confidential
Yeah, they
data.
will never know.
Okay.
Once it is approved and once everything is signed, and then there is an actual run of credit where they actually sign the credit report, the agent doesn't have access to that. That's
Okay.
all within the confidential consumer portal.
Got it.
So
So they really just have access to the journey of the deal.
Yeah.
yes, and
Not the deal,
actually,
but the project. So, yeah.
and it's also very important to note, Frank, the agent doesn't have to convince the client of anything. They don't have to push credit or push even the project. We
Right.
will do all that. This is a referral system
It's
for
a
them.
handoff, basically.
Exactly. We will take care of that. Within our welcome calls, we explain everything to the homeowner
Right.
in detail about the credit, about the project, about the expectations. So we take a lot of care of actually doing a very strong communication with homeowners. Your agents will not have to do anything like that. We will take care of that from end to
Excellent.
finish.
So we're up against the clock. I want to open up for questions. Number one, thank you guys.
Of course, thank you.
Who do we got? Do we have any questions either in the chat, Donna, or do we have any people that have any questions for Peter or Julian?
Yes, I want to know, hello.
Hey,
I want
Martha.
to know do you have people that speak Spanish
Yeah.
by any chance? Yes, all right. Good to know.
We all speak Spanish. That's part of the requirement to work at Minski. You need to be.
Oh, wow.
La mayoría somos mexicanos también,
Eso.
so really we like that about our team. We like that about what we do is, yes, we like to speak Spanish as well. So yes, we do. We speak with many of our clients, Marta, are also elderly people that only speak Spanish. So
Perfecto.
we have a lot of people that can actually take care of that.
Great question. What other questions we got, guys?
So do we actually enter the client for the referral to you all? So as the agent, then I go in and put their information in, and then you contact them and handle it from there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, we made it very simple for you guys. It's just first name, last name, email address, contact number, and any other question that can help us, it will help us facilitate that call.
Okay, thank you.
What I think we're designing though on
Yes.
which is going to be down in the future again, Diane, is that they will be able to, the consumer will be able to go log in directly and it will code it to you. So again, you might have a project done and get a commission. You didn't even know. They just happen to be someone you would put on your KV Core platform that was searching the website.
Okay, so if my CRM sees it on the website or whatnot, then they can go in, or would they contact me to go in?
Well, how I see it is we'll give you a widget that will go on your KV Core website. So when your client is logging in, they're still searching on your website for properties and things like that. So
Right.
then all they've got to do at that point is click the home remodeling, and
Cool.
then yeah. So again, you might be doing nothing. You might be sleeping at night and you just got a project done.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll make sure, because I know you do a lot of New Mexico, Diane, we'll get New Mexico on there. That's going to be a big component, especially as we're
Yes, I have an
very
investor
focused on-
in New Mexico that probably would love to use them because they're in California. And so they have properties in New Mexico and probably would use them for their repairs and to service the properties.
Perfect. Great.
Cool.
Who else, guys?
I do. Good morning, everyone. I have a question. It's Mary Lou.
Mary Lou.
Hi, Frank. Thank you for another venture.
All about you.
Question is, if we decide not to take the referral amount and we want to use your services to possibly flip houses, could we use that towards the amount? And as far as deadlines, I know that the most thing that people worry about when they are doing flips is deadlines. How does that come into play for us as far as HPREG?
Let me just try to understand your question. In terms of deadlines, you mean deadlines for the completion of the project?
Correct. You know how if you have hard money loans or
Yeah.
the loans usually
So-
due after a certain time?
Right. In our case, so our lines of credit do not require any time completion at all. So there's nothing like that. It depends on what we're getting involved in the flipping. So some flippers just take us for one specific project, like HVAC. We'll do the HVAC, we'll finance that part, we'll do that piece, and we'll be the general contractor for that.
I think what Mary Lou's saying, tell me if I'm wrong, Mary Lou, is she's gonna have certain deadlines within,
Mhm.
because they've got hard money that they've got on the line, so
Oh,
they're
okay.
paying. So, who's responsible for the deadline and you
We
guys
are.
going to make the
Yeah,
deadline?
okay.
Am I right on that, Mary Lou? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, so like if we were to contract, like let's say we decide to go and ask you all to do a complete remodel for us, you
Yeah.
know, and then you all give us the quote and we do use your services. And I know that if we use your services, we get, from what I'm understanding, some money from that. Could we use that towards the remodeling? And is that paid like towards the end once we sell the home?
No, it is paid at funding. That means that when the financing entity funds the credit, that's when the commission gets paid. So that most likely will happen before the completion of the whole project, the whole flipping project. So that means that you would get that commission before, and yes, you could use it towards the project. Absolutely.
So just to make sure I understand, and we're gonna have to cut out, I realize I've got to do something else here. If there was $20,000 in potential commissions that are owed, instead of getting the financing on 100,000, they could get the financing on 80,000 and draw, and that 20,000 they could utilize towards the
Yes.
total completion. Does that answer your question, Mary Lou?
Yes, thank you.
That's a great question. All right, do we have time for one more question? We gotta go.
Yeah, one more.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, one more question, guys, and I'm because I think they've got another something scheduled here in the space here. Who else has got a question? Oh, well, maybe that's it. All right, so a lot's gonna come out, guys, over the next couple of weeks on this. We've got a few things on the lawyer side we've got to do to make sure that we've got the T's crossed, I's dotted. They've got a little bit more development on the app side that they're finishing up. I think the app will come out along with the disclosures. And then hopefully within the next couple of months, we will have the widget, which we call the frictionless experience that would be able, and again, this is your choice. You don't have to do this. We're not pushing this down your throat, but I can't see why you wouldn't put it on there. Just one more solution and one more way to help you win a deal. So I think with that, guys, I'll call it a day. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate it. This was great. Yeah, good stuff.
Thank you.
And we're excited about this partnership. And y'all have a great weekend. And we'll see you guys on Monday. These guys might come on Monday if y'all can make it.
Yeah.
So come meet them in person, ask them any questions, and and enjoy a margarita or cerveza with them. So
Excellent.
all right, guys, see y'all later. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Very much.